In this video, we're going to be doing an update on United Health because this is still one of my favorite setups going into the next 6 to 12 months. And I think there's a really good chance that over that time frame, we're going to see another 40 to 50% breakout up to $480. Now, I have been buying this since we were pulling back into the smart money zone here around $269 to $280. And we had that big bounce all through August into September, and then a little bit of a rejection in October. And I actually went through, I closed half of my position on United Health, but I'm still in with about 300 shares at an average trade price of $256. Now, the reason that I ended up taking some of my profits off the table, for those of you who remember, was back in September. I said that there's a very good chance that price was going to break out to the upside. But if we zoomed into a smaller time frame, there was a chance that price would come back one more time to test the $300 to worst case $280 support level before the potential breakout. And that's why I went through and I closed out half of my shares. Now I'm still in, like we said, with 300 shares, but I want to talk about in this video what I'm going to do with the other 300 shares and when exactly I plan to average down. If we take a look at this daily chart, you're going to see a couple of key things on the smaller time frame here that you do not see on that monthly time frame. The monthly time frame shows you a big candle here in August through September and October, but what it doesn't show us are these price gaps, which in most cases tend to fill. Something else that you're not going to notice on that monthly time frame is going to be this volume profile indicator on the right side of your screen. This gray volume profile indicator shows you on the daily time frame, or whatever time frame that you're looking at, in this case it's the daily, where the most amount of volume has been. And you'll notice that this is where we have the highest amount of resistance and the highest amount of support. And as you know, an old resistance will normally become a new support. You will also notice that the weekly BX trender at the bottom of your screen, I currently have this overlaid onto a daily time frame, is still green, which is a very good sign, but it is showing that buying pressure is coming out of the stock on a smaller time frame. This is a pretty clear indication, in my opinion, that price is probably going to continue to sell off. Worst case, maybe another 6% before a bounce, to absolute worst case to another 17% to fill this price gap prior. And from there, I do think we'll end up bouncing, like we said, worst case scenario, between $270 to $300. And so my personal plan is to average down within that area. And if you want to get access to all the indicators that you see here with our specific requirements, such as the BX trender, volume profile, and all the others, the link to all of our courses and indicators will be free in the description. So while I'm still bullish looking at the macro time frame, the next 6 to 12 months, a continued sell-off is really not the end of the world. And if you're somebody who is looking to either start a position or average down, this is a good thing. Now, over the past couple of months, we have seen some big call buying coming through in the options market. If we go into our Traders Helping Traders web app, we can click on the Unusual Flow tab. We come into the search bar and look up UNH. You'll see back here on October 3rd, which was a little bit more than a month ago, we saw a huge unusual options order come through. The expiration date on this was 9/18/2026, which means that it is a leap option or a long-term option play. The strike price is $370. The order was for $1.7 million. And they came in at the ask. So this is a very bullish indication. And if we look again at this monthly time frame, you could see that easily within the next year, price can move up to that 370 strike, maybe even up to that $480 level. So that's another small piece of information that we can use within our analysis, and it's a very good sign. Now we know that these whales are still in this position because that was about 400 to 500 contracts that came through on that order, and the open interest on these contracts so far is about 817, which means that the contracts being held, there's more than enough to assume that those whales are still in those positions. The other thing is that the return is down about 36%. So they are down on this position, obviously, but they're still continuing to hold. So when we take into account the monthly time frame is still showing buying pressure on the BX trender, we are also finding a good support here on this point of control and volume profile shelf. I can safely assume that we are still going to get this breakout over the next 6 to 12 months. Right now, it's all about waiting for price to confirm a bottom on the smaller time frame. And as we said before, I believe that will happen somewhere between $300 to $280. And once it does happen, I will alert you exactly when I average down. If you want to get access to all of the indicators that we use in these videos, as well as learn how to implement them within the strategy, go ahead and check out the link to our trading library down below. You'll get access to the BX Trender, the Smart Money Mastery and Smart Money Zones, and the volume profile. Each course shows you how to actually set up the indicators, the proprietary settings. Over 20,000 students have implemented this into their trading system and are seeing consistent profits from as low as $10,000 all the way up to over $3 million. The link will be in the description.